If you haven't already, make sure you check out my breakdown of episode 1 here, and subscribe for detailed analysis of every episode of the new All 4 TV series in the coming week. This second episode is the characters learning how to understand death from both perspectives, people dealing with the loss and then the person who died, showing how to cope with the fear of death and the fear of someone you love dying. At first, the concept of the duck dying is something the characters envy and celebrate. This would be a commentary on religious notions of the afterlife, the idea that there's something better than life after life, so the transition is something to be excited about. There are a lot of Easter eggs in this opening scene, like the clock from time on the wall, representing how the duck's time is up, and the reference to the date central to the YouTube season, June 19th, appearing in one of the clips of the Big Day song. The duck reading about his own death in the paper is a message about how you can never see death coming. The people around you can never expect it, and they can only process it after it happens, so the characters don't recognize the gravity of it until after he makes it into the coffin and is buried. The duck goes about living his normal life in the coffin, trying to become friends with it, listening to music, wanting to play games and keeping track of the time, but none of these things exist in his state right now, and that's not something he's used to. This is how most people would act if they still had consciousness after passing away. It would take some time for us to accept that it's really all over, but we don't get the chance to do that because that's when any time for us to process it stops. So that's how the duck is dealing with his death. But how are the red and yellow guys dealing with it in the meantime? They were so excited for this day, they even baked and made music in celebration. But now that they're back home, it just feels like something's missing. The dynamic is off. That one chair is empty, and for them too, the reality of the situation didn't really set in until after everything happened. They started seeing more pictures of him up on the walls that weren't there before, symbolizing how everything around you will remind you of a person you lost when you're missing them that much. The memories come back. They realize it won't be the same without him, and even though a lot of the memories that come up are negative, they still make a literal mark on them. It shows you that you miss even what you didn't appreciate at the time after it's gone. A crowd shows up to mourn the duck, but they're gone as quick as they came, representative of all the fake mourning that happens after someone's passing. People that didn't even know someone will try to share in the feeling just to fit in, but they didn't have to go through the real difficult part of the grieving. They find a make a new friend kit where they get a replacement mold who names himself Stain. Stain has no unique personality and he's always changing voice and shape. Because he's just what their minds are using to cope with the loss. They're trying to mold what they think can replace him, but he just becomes a reminder of his death, staring at the hole the coffin came out of, when they were trying their best to avoid it. The lamp from episode 6 of the original, who was representative of dreams, comes through with ideas about life after death, showing that our ideas about what happens after death are just another type of cope of our fear of it. So then they start to project their own memories of the duck onto the mold, putting a jacket on him and then even a beak, replacing him in the form of someone else, avoiding dealing with their trauma directly, and this can mirror how some people bring new people into their life to fill a void after the passing of someone important, and end up unloading their traumas on that person unfairly. So at this point, the mold is now a mirror image of the duck, and the yellow guy in his grief digs the old duck up. When the two confront each other at the house, they decide to go with it for a little bit, running the theme song back, but with two ducks instead this time, until the new duck, now having fully taken the place of the old, kills the old off for good this time. And we know it's the old one because the maggots from the coffin spill out when he gets killed. No matter what the yellow and red guys do, they can't really bring him back. For the rest of the series now, the duck is just their memories of the duck projected onto the mold, and the original is lost to time forever.